We're going to do a mixture of my favorite things in yoga, which are at the moment heart opening yoga for Valentine's Day. Our hearts are getting shut down day by day at the moment in our own bubbles, in the wider community. And I feel like we could do with that for ourselves. Plus it's Valentine's Day, right? And self-love is where it all begins. So a bit of yoga, myofascial release, because it's my favorite thing ever. So we'll be using our balls to roll hands and feet and various parts of our body to break down some tension, but not to find areas of pain, to kind of break down like forcefully. Just another form of self-love. And also weaving in some of my favorite meditation, metta bhavana meditation, which is loving kindness Buddhist meditation. So I'll be repeating some phrases over and over during the practice. So it'll all be interwoven together. Because there's so many of you, and because I can't see you, and because it's online, I can't take care of you as much as I would if we were in person. So I need you to take care of yourselves. Anything that doesn't feel right, please don't do. If there's something that you weren't able to do and you kind of feel like you missed out, then why don't you just contact me afterwards and I can work out different accessible variations for you. I'll be able to name some of the accessible variations, but I won't be able to know exactly from everyone what we can do to change it to make it feel more comfortable. So the best thing is just to do what feels right and to not feel what doesn't feel right. And because there's so many different things weaving in, you won't miss out too much if there's something that you can't do. So things you need to have with you are 2 balls. If you only have one, you only have one. Don't worry. I've got tennis ball size myofascial release balls. These have got a bit of give in them and they don't kind of slip out like tennis balls. So if you did enjoy this and you do want to invest in the myofascial release, the Yoga and Myofascial Release course that's coming up in March, then it might be a good idea to kind of get some other ones. Or if you just feel like it's a really nice therapy you'd like to add to your daily life, it might be worth investing. So it's fine to have tennis ball for today, but if you do want to go a bit further with this practice, I do have my course coming in March, and there's also lots of free stuff on my social media, and you can redo this over and over again. You might get really into it and want to have the proper balls. You'll also need a blanket and something to support your head. So sometimes when we put the balls behind us, it's nice to have your head supported on something. That could be a yoga block, it could be a cushion, it could be a blanket. And then maybe if we're doing some kneeling stuff, you might like a blanket under your knees to support your knees. And then you'll need something to sit up. So at the beginning, we'll be doing a bit of meditation, a bit of breathing, a bit of like shoulder moving. There's no reason why you couldn't do all of that on a chair, or you could straddle a bolster, you could sit cross-legged, but make sure you're comfortable. So if you're sitting, it's best to lift your bottom up. Okay, I think I can't get that any bigger. So we'll just begin. I think I've said everything I want to say. There's also a metta bhavana course coming up. So if you like the practice that we do, the loving kindness meditation, then that's something to think about as well. And also there's loads of free metta bhavana full meditations on my social media. So I'm going to start sitting up. I'm going to actually sit kneeling up. I've got my blocks here to support the sitting bones so that I can kneel up without putting too much pressure on my ankles, without having too much of a fold in my knees. Again, you might prefer to sit on a chair. You might prefer to sit cross-legged, but lift up your bottom a tiny bit so you can really feel the pelvis sinking down into whatever you're sitting on. You can roll your pubic bone down a little bit, find the curve of the lower back, take the buttocks back a little bit. If you're sitting on a chair, it's really nice to press the feet into the earth as well. Really find that grounding through both the pelvis and the soles of the feet. So if your feet don't reach the bottom, the floor when you're on the chair, just bring the floor up to meet them. And we can start with the hands just palms down on the thighs, wherever you want. Nothing too complicated going on here at all. And just take a breath. Maybe close your eyes if you feel comfortable enough to do that. Or you can just soften your gaze, maybe gaze down. And just be here. Just feeling the length of the spine. Just become aware as you breathe in that you might be able to follow the passage of breath from the base of the spine all the way up, as if there's a central channel coming up through the center of the body, all the way up through the throat, through the midbrain, up, coming out through the crown of the head. And as you breathe out, just imagine that that energy of the breath is coming down through the crown, through the midbrain, through the center of the neck, through the center of the heart, center of the abdomen, center of the pelvic bowl, and out and down into the earth through whatever you're sitting on. So I want you to kind of think that your breath is like a pipe cleaner, and you have this big tube of energy that links you both with the universal spirit above your head, metaphorically speaking, and the earth deep beneath you, the core of the earth, between the sitting bones, down through the pelvic floor into the earth. And your breath as energy traveling up as you breathe in and down as you breathe out. Nothing more to do than just follow that natural wave up as you breathe in, wave down as you breathe out. And let your breath adjust your posture. If at any point you feel you need to wriggle and make yourself more comfortable as you welcome this breath, and feel free to do so. You don't have to be too still. The breath will move you. You can allow the breath to expand the belly, expand the ribs. You can allow the breath to set the posture of the shoulders. And really feeling that as this breath comes up and down, as the breath comes in and out, the energy traveling up and down, you're really lengthening the spine. You feel the sitting bones pressing down into whatever you're sitting on. You feel the crown of the head reaching up into the sky. You might want to draw the throat or the ears back a little bit, just to lengthen out the back of the neck. Try and keep broad through the collarbones, but don't squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other too much. Just feel that length of this tube as the breath and the prana, or the energy, the life force goes up and down with each breath. Feel like you're getting longer and clearer. And this right here is the most beautiful form of self-love you can give to yourself in this moment of Valentine's Day. And right at the center of this tube is the heart space. So feeling it in, you can imagine it as this very central point in the middle of the rib cage. And you can bring your mind to rest on the heart space and just feel the expansion of the heart space now as you breathe in. Rather than up and down, the breath is now expanding outwards in all directions as you breathe in. And you're just coming back into yourself, into your heart space, right to your center as you breathe out. And you can feel the rib cage expanding front to back, side to side, and top to bottom with every breath in, as if your lungs are like a balloon expanding in all directions as you breathe in. And then as you contract and breathe out, really feel that you're drawing right into this deep center, kind of like your soul or the candle flame that's lit in your heart space, connecting in with your own inner heart. And then placing your hands, palms flat over your heart, the center of your chest. Bowing your head slightly. And with the out breath, we're going to repeat the first metta phrases. And you might try repeating them inwardly as you breathe out. So I'm going to breathe in, and as I breathe out, I'm going to say to myself inwardly, may I be well. And then I'm going to breathe in again, and as I breathe out, may I be safe and protected from harm. And I'll breathe in again, and as I breathe out, may I be happy. And I'll breathe in again, and as I breathe out, may I be loved. I'm going to repeat that another 2 times. Breathing in and out, may I be well. May I be safe and protected from harm. May I be happy. May I be loved. May I be well. May I be safe and protected from harm. May I be happy. May I be loved. And then bringing the hands back down onto the thighs and dropping your head down, as if you're bowing your head down for the prayer that you just offered to yourself. As if you could quite possibly believe that could happen, that this is deserved, that you are worthy of this love. With your chin tucked down into your chest, you draw the throat back again, draw the ears back and up, so you're really lengthening the back of the neck. And the next time you breathe in, center the head. And as you breathe out, drop the left ear down towards the left shoulder. You're going to take your right arm behind your back. And if you can reach it right round, take palm to palm, and just give yourself a little stretch of those upper shoulder fibers. Taking a deep breath. If the hand doesn't reach all the way to the waist, don't worry about it. Just drawing it behind you as best you can. Take hold of the arm somewhere. Taking some lovely deep breaths, releasing tension in the shoulders, top of the shoulders. Very gently, return the hands to the lap. Keep the head where it is, hands come to the lap. And as you inhale, center the head. As you exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder and take your left hand behind you and either take hold of it behind you wherever you can, drawing it towards the right, or bring it to poke out of the waist, bring palm to palm, and just feel that lovely stretch. Hopefully it's lovely. If it doesn't feel good, come back a little bit from that edge. Breathing deeply. Keep the head where it is, return the hands to the lap, and as you inhale, center the head, and as you exhale, drop the chin down to the chest again. Take a deep breath into the fibers of the back of the neck, the top of the shoulders, and as you breathe out for the next few breaths, just imagine that all of the tension in the head, neck, and the shoulders is draining down towards the earth, as if you picked it up by accident. And the out breath is just grounding the shoulders back down, releasing that tension, as if it's electrical energy that is vibrating in your head, neck, and shoulders. And now it's time to go to ground. And then gently center the head. Very nice. Stay where you are. I'm just gonna stop myself from being a bright alien. So let's do some cactus arms. So you're going to bring your arms up and really stretch the elbows back, stretch the backs of the hands back, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Keep the neck soft, but you could probably feel a slight tilt up and out with the collarbones as the chest opens. Don't overarch the back. Just feel like everything's pulling back. Take a deep breath in, feel the breath into that space at the top of the chest. And as you breathe out, give yourself a massive hug. Have a little wriggle. Notice which elbow's on the top, because we'll change it up next time. If you want to, ground your elbows down, take the backs of the hands together, maybe even take the palms of the hands together, and really feel a stretch across the shoulder, and the back of the shoulder of probably the arm that's on top, the elbow that's on top. But you don't need to overthink it, just feeling and breathing, really stretching into the back of the heart, the back of the ribs, shoulder blades, and just having a few breaths here, going back to hugging, maybe dropping your cheek to one shoulder. You'll have to remember to drop the cheek to the other shoulder, and the next time you inhale, back to cactus, open wide, heart wide open, elbows pulling back, forearms pulling back, backs of the hands pulling back, collarbones rolling up and separating as the chest and heart reach to the sky. And then as you exhale, hugging with the other hand over the top. So I hope you remember. Little wriggle. And then if you want to, digging the elbows down, backs of the hands together, maybe palms of the hands together, wherever you want, it doesn't matter. You'll be feeling something, hopefully, in the, probably outside of the upper arm, across the shoulder blade, across the back of the heart. Taking some deep breaths here. Don't force, don't strain. Just be where you are. And hands back to the shoulders, tipping the head to the opposite side. Another little hug. And then as you inhale, stretching the arms back in cactus. Again, it's like my hands are going to tilt back. It's like the whole arm tilts back, allows the shoulder blades to soften down and the heart to lift. But it's not a deep back bend in my lower back. I'm really trying to open up the heart, the top of the chest, just underneath the collarbones. And then releasing the arms, having a little roll of the shoulders. Have a breath to see what we've done so far. It might not feel like much, but just generally releasing top of the trapezius, the back of the neck, and starting to unpeel all these layers of tension from sitting like this, starting to liberate now a little bit. So let's now do a nice tense and release stretch, so setting the neural patterns for the brain. So as I inhale, I take my shoulders up to my ears, and I'm going to hold my breath at the top of the inhale, optional. Maybe it's just a pause. And as I breathe out, I'm going to suddenly let my shoulders go, and it's a real switching off. So do that a few times, inhaling, lifting, tensing, squeezing. As you hold the breath, you hold the tension, and as you exhale, you let it go. Okay. And just carry on. You can even sigh and breathe out through the mouth. Now think about really kind of holding on to lots of tension, the stuff that's been really annoying you. And as you let it go, letting all of that go. Very nice. Rolling the shoulders again. And let's take the arms up to the sky. Hopefully we can reach elbows. And again, we're going to change. So don't overthink it, but just be aware, taking the elbows. Reach the elbows back, lift the heart up, liberate the chest. Maybe stretch side to side. Opening up the sides of the body. And then hands up, cross the other way. It's going to feel very peculiar. Take the elbows back, lift the heart again. Side to side, really opening up the side fibers of the ribs. And then stretch up as you breathe in and down as you breathe out. Very nice. Shrugging the shoulders. And then let's come off our blocks if we're sitting down. If you're on a chair, you're probably okay for a bit. We're just going to stretch out our legs. So you could do this on the chair, or you could come down onto the mat. Just sitting back, hands, just weight onto the hands, just allowing yourself to release any tension that you've just picked up from sitting there for so long. So wiggling the toes, maybe rolling the ankles. And pointing and flexing the feet. You could do opposites. If you want to work really hard, whoops, my ball's rolling away. You can try and sit up, pull the buttocks back, and really have tight thighs so that you're working a little bit more core, or you can be sinking down, literally just working the ankles, up to you. Pointing and flexing, bouncing the knees. You can feel that even this is myofascial release because we are putting pressure on the backs of the calves, backs of the thighs, and then giving yourself a little rub down of the thighs and the shins. Very nice. So we're going to come onto all fours now. We're going to be doing quite a bit of work on all fours. So you may want to have a blanket under your knees. So if you have kind of bossy knees, let's say, then you might want a blanket kind of 2/3 of the way down your mat so that your knees get to have a bit more comfort. Go further back. So on your hands and knees, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. And let's start with some cat and cow. They're very simple movements, extending the spine into the mini back bend as I inhale, lift my head, lift my tailbone, belly and chest fall towards the floor, and I squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. And as I exhale, pushing the hands into the earth as if that's giving me my back bend, lifting the belly and chest, opening the shoulder blades. And we inhale, I just keep flowing through. So opening the front of the body as I inhale, and opening the back of the body as I exhale. And the pelvis is rolling backwards and forwards. You can feel that that's initiating the movement there, the whole spine. The shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other as I breathe in And they're moving away from each other as I breathe out. And remember, keep pressing into the earth. Point the inner elbows towards each other. And you can even kind of draw the arms in towards each other energetically to really stabilize the arm bones. And come down on the elbows now, elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms on the floor, and I'm kind of rolling the thumbs and the first fingers back down to the floor. And I'll do the same movement, cat and cow, but this time really pressing that whole kind of tripod base into the floor. Elbows and forearms and wrists and palms all pressing into the floor. I'm lifting up away from the floor. So I'm really strengthening these upper fibers of the chest and upper back. I don't want too much in the neck or the lower back, so I'm not going to arch my lower back too much. I'm not going to lift my head too much. I'm just looking at my thumbs. Just getting a little bit more movement here. As I inhale, just rolling the shoulder heads back, opening the collarbones. Nice and simple. Now I'm going to take my right hand behind my left elbow, and I'm going to send my left arm forward. And I might be able to drop my forehead down onto my forearm, or I may prefer to have a block here to catch my forehead. But I'm really stretching that left side from fingertips to armpit. You can really feel the stretch in the pecs. I might want to take the hand a bit wider or even bend the elbow if it's just too much for me. Breathing deeply and opening up that whole left side. And then coming back onto the elbows. And then my left hand goes behind my right elbow. My right hand reaches forward. And then I just drop my forehead down. So I'm going to just move my forearm to meet my forehead, or I could grab a block, something to lean on. Reach my fingers forward. It's almost like my hips going back and up as my fingers go forward and down. Maybe my armpits starting to rest down to the earth. I can always take my arm wider. I can always bend my arm if it makes it feel easier. And then coming back onto the elbows. And actually, let's come back up onto the hands and do thread the needle. So we'll do like a three times kind of practice run. So I'm going to lift my right arm up. And as I breathe in, I'm going to open up to the right, lift my right arm up. And as I exhale, I'm going to thread it through, drop my right shoulder and ear down. And then as I breathe in, pressing on my left hand, I'm going to come all the way back up. So I'm spiraling open 3 times. Exhale down. Press with the left hand, come up, turn the rib cage. And this time, your third go, you go down and you hold. So drop the shoulder, drop the cheek. And you can always, with your left hand, you can press the fingertips into the earth in front of your face. And that will help you reach your left shoulder blade back. Or you can reach it overhead, forwards on your mat, palm flat. Or you can take the hand up to the sky. So pick what feels the nicest, or a kind of combination somewhere in between those. Take a deep breath. And then pressing on the left hand into the earth in front of your face, come back up to all fours. And then we do the other side. So I'm going to keep my right hand on the floor. As I inhale, I'm going to reach left hand up. As I exhale, I'm going to thread it through, bend my right arm, drop my shoulder and my cheek of the left side, but then press on the right hand to come straight up as I inhale. Exhaling, threading through. Inhaling, coming up. And this is your third time. So coming down, dropping the shoulder and the cheek. And again, you can either press your fingertips into the earth of the right hand in front of your face to inch that shoulder blade up and over. You could take your arm over your head, palm flat to the floor, or you could take your arm up to the sky, but go for the easy option. Don't go for the maximum. We're doing self-love today. Go for what feels delicious, if you can find that. Then pressing with that right hand into the earth to come up, back onto all fours. Now widen your knees a touch. Bring the tips of the toes, big toes together. Just let your bottom sink a little bit further towards your heels if that's comfortable. And rest your elbows down on the earth. Now what we're going to try and do is keep the elbows narrower than the shoulders and reach the elbows forward. And as your bottom is fairly heavy, no offense, but it's going to traction down towards the heels. And that's going to enable this lovely stretch to the upper arms, the triceps, and some of the back muscles there. So hands up to the sky. You can rest your forehead down. You can even take your hands towards the bottom there. Let the weight of your bottom kind of traction that movement for you, and just sink down, take a few breaths. And then just let the bottom come forward a bit, lift the head, let the shoulders come forward. What we're going to do is we're going to go for a little elbow walk over to the right, so walk your elbows over. So the left elbow comes to the mat, the right elbow probably falling off the mat, and then sink down again. I'm right on my microphone now. And then lift the head up, elbow walk back to center, and then elbow walk over to the left. Come right off the mat. So right elbow is on the mat, left elbow on the floor. Again, sink the forehead down. Take a few breaths and lift the head up. Elbow walk back to the center, and then bring the hands flat. Walk the hands back and let the bottom drop on the heels. Hopefully this is comfy. If not, at this point, you can flip over onto your back and just hug your knees into your chest and have a lovely loosen off of the back. If you're still comfy here with a wide leg child, feel free to reach forward with the hands back with the bottom and down with the forehead. And you can also just make this more restful, rest the shoulders, rest the elbows, maybe rest the head on the arms. So find again that delightful, delicious part of all of this that really suits your body. And then bring the hands under the shoulders and just pushing yourself up, bringing the knees back together and sitting up. Okay, so we're going to roll out our hands now. So you can get one of your balls, and if you're comfy on the floor any old way, you're just going to start getting the ball under your hand. Just get used to it. Very gentle rolling here I'm doing. And then I'm going to think about the middle of the hand, the very center of the hand. And I'm going to press down. Now, if it's not comfy like this, this is quite good if you're sitting at a desk, because you're sitting upright and the desk's right there. So that's another way of doing it. Or you could stand up and press your hand into a chair. So if this isn't a very comfy or sustainable way for you to sit and apply pressure, so I've got my other hand is applying pressure onto the long bones of my hand. And I'm just pressing and releasing into the palm of the hand. And I want to be able to use my body weight. So I'm not just kind of yanking my shoulders. I'm just leaning forward into it. This is why if it's not comfy like this, it might be better. You could also have a block underneath the ball, lift the ball up, lift the floor up. And then I'm going to, so I've done the center of the palm, I'm going to do the thumb pad. So if you imagine gets quite tight sometimes. The ball is under the pad of the hand, of the thumb. My other fingers are on the floor. And again, I'm just going to apply pressure. I can press and release, depends on how tight it is. Press and release, or press and hold 30 to 60 seconds. The thing with this myofascial release is that we're not looking for pain or discomfort. We're not trying to press on any bones or nerves. We're going for soft tissue, and we're going for something we can work with so that we can breathe deeply, rather than pain and breaking it down, punishing your body. My teacher says, don't go for the victim. If you've got tightness in your body, then it's already being bullied and it's already the victim. So if I'm going to take therapy and punish the victim, that's not good either. So we've done the center, we've done the thumb pad. We're going to do the pinky pad now. So kind of going to the little finger side edge, and again pressing down. You can press and release, you can help with the other hand, or you can press and hold. You can always adjust your position. Hopefully you can see okay, but it's more of a feeling anyway. Just putting some pressure on the pinky side, press and release. I know that with this kind of stuff, less is more, so just enjoy yourself. And then we'll do a smiley face from the pinky pad to the thumb pad. So my fingers are going to be on the floor, and I've got medium pressure, trying to maintain even pressure around that semicircle, smiley face, from the thumb to little fingers across this kind of what's called the aponeurosis between, it's like at the base of the hand, and we're rolling across that. Medium pressure. You'll feel some speed bumps there properly, and then we're going to move pressure from the ball of the hand to the heel of the hand, and then to get the ball back, I release pressure, and I'll probably kick it back with my fingers or bring it back, but the pressure is from the ball to the heel. And once I've got that action, medium pressure all over, once I've got that action, I can trace from the thumb ball pad to the heel of the hand, the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, and the little finger. Very nice. And then I'm just going to scribble. So this is light pressure all over, very light pressure. This is working the lymph, letting the cleanup crew come and release anything that you've broken down. Broken down, but I don't want to say that because it's not harsh, it's soft and gentle. But it's the cleanup crew. Let's do the other hand. Or maybe we just feel the hands first. So feel the difference between the hands. Maybe you want the hands palms down or palms up. Close your eyes, go inside, think, consider how one feels. It's usually quite dramatic difference. Let's do the other side. So we start in the center of the palm. We're going to be doing center, then the thumb pad, then the pinky pad, then a smiley face. I can't remember what else we did, but I'll get there in the end. So center of the hand. If I'm going to put pressure with my other hand, I'm going to go over those long bones on the back of the hand, maybe wrapping around the wrist and using my body weight. So I'm not just poking, I'm dropping and releasing, dropping and releasing. This is why if it's not comfy on the floor, change position so that you don't have to work so hard. You can press and hold if you want to, if it's not too painful. Taking some breaths, and both hands will be very different because you do different things with them. But don't go for the victim. Don't punish the victim. If this is your tight hand, maybe the other one was tight, who knows? Gentle, less is more. And then the thumb pad. So I'm going to have my fingers on the floor and the ball under the pad of the thumb. Inside so you can see me better. Yeah. Press and release, maybe holding. You can also do gentle circles on this thumb pad, if that helps. And then the finger pad, press and release. Press and release. You can see my ball poking out the little finger side. And then I'm going to do the smiley face, fingers on the floor, rolling the ball, medium pressure all over, rolling from the thumb pad to the little finger pads across that little webby bit. It's not the official term. And then sliding from the ball of the fingers to the heel of the hand. Get used to pressing as you move the hand forward and releasing as you move the hand back. And then you can start to trace from the thumb, the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, Ah, so nice. And then scribbling. Very light pressure now. Hardly anything. Scribbling all over. Whoops, using my ball. And then just place your ball to the side. Sit and observe for a moment your hands. Hands are so open, so, I don't know, light. Maybe it's kind of brought some tension to awareness. So maybe it doesn't feel amazing, but it's probably feeling different. So just acknowledge that, just notice that. Bring your hands onto your heart again, sitting comfortably. And we'll take this opportunity to send some metta to someone we love very dearly. And again, just checking in, hands on our hearts. We'll do it with the out breath, breathing in. And as you breathe out, may you be well. Someone you love so much, may you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. And we'll do it 3 times with the out breath. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. One more time. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be loved. May you be happy. Sharing out some of that hand love, some of that heart love. Okay, let's come back to some movement. We're going to go into downward facing dog. Feel free to have a chair if you don't want to wait there, or have a couple of blocks under your hands. We're going to just have a little stretch out of the back of the body. And hopefully your hands will feel pretty nice on the floor now. So pressing the hands into the floor on hands and knees, it's like you're going to tuck your toes under, hover your knees off the floor, press your hands down and forward as you start to kind of undo the backs of your legs. Press the bottom up and back. And so find that lovely long line that we've already spent some time stretching out from the fingertips to the spine. So we've really started opening out that line. We've stretched the upper arms, you stretch the side body. And then you can land in your dog with your heels up and your knees bent. Let your head fall and just start to stretch out the legs. And I kind of want you to think of it less as a yoga, but more as kind of getting lots of awareness into the legs and just feeding your body with some amazing energy, this zing. So as you breathe and stretch, let it be stretching into stagnant areas of your body. Pedal as much as you want. You can even twist the body a little bit, just peeking under your armpit, either side, really rotating the rib cage. You can really do what you want here. You can even lift up one leg and bring it down, lift up the other leg and bring it down. You can kind of open the hip a little bit, whatever you want. Just stretching out, pressing really firmly into the earth with the hands, down and forward. Let the head be soft, just loosening up the legs. And then step a little bit forward, so maybe you're halfway to the front of your mat. Feet are under the hips. Just turn the thighs inwards a little bit, so the outer edges of the feet are parallel. And you might want to lift up your chest and your hands just to have a lovely deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, fold down. You can bend your knees. You can have chair blocks here if it's too far down. You can always take a wider stance if it's more comfortable for your body. Releasing the head, crown of the head reaching down to the floor. So if you feel a little bit unstable, just part the legs a little bit. If it's too far down to the earth, lift the hands a little bit. If you're happy here, bending or straightening the legs as your legs want to, you can bring your hands onto your back, interlink the fingers. Keep the arms bent. Bring the elbows and shoulders up to the sky. Squeeze the shoulders in towards each other, then reach the arms up to the sky. And you can even drop the arms overhead. Release any tension in the neck. Weight on the heels. Breath full and deep. Hard upside down. And then release the arms. Let them flop. Release the legs. So drop the bottom. Bring the weight onto the heels. And if you're sitting down on a chair, lift your chest. Bring your hands onto your thighs. Take a breath here. Open the chest. And stick the bum out as much as you want. Feel the thighs firing up. Now what you're going to do is press those heels down and come up to standing. Roll the shoulders back, feel alive, breathe in, stretch the arms up. Take hold of the right wrist with the left hand and reach over to the left. As you exhale, inhale, reach up. Take hold of the opposite side, exhale, reach over. Inhale, reach up, both arms up, and exhale, resting the arms down. Very nice. Now bring your ball. Bring the ball back and we'll roll our feet. So we can start like the hands right in the center of the foot. And what I'm going to do is just shift my weight from foot to foot. And feet are going to be a little bit more gnarly, maybe more sensitive than hands. So there's a lot going on in your feet and they hold you up all the time. So you can rest the toes on the floor and press into the center of the foot. You might want to press and hold, but probably pressing and releasing. And you know that you're in charge, so you don't have to go very deep. Make it feel nice and soothing. Don't punish your foot. And then you're just going to come right in front of the heel. So not on the heel, but just in front of the heel. So you don't want to be rolling on the bone, but it's just back a bit from that center point. And again, my toes are on the floor. If I move my weight over that heel, I'm going to be putting more pressure on. If I release and move my weight onto this foot, I'm going to be releasing. And then hold and maintain a medium pressure as you roll the ball from side to side. So you're still in front of the heel a little bit, rolling side to side. You're kind of internally, externally rotating your leg. And now you can roll over the heel a little bit. And it's fun to try and keep the ball under control. Maybe it's rolling away, rolling from side to side. So that's kind of like this rolling that we did on the hand, squeezing and hydrating the tissues of the foot. And then we're going to do the rolling from the ball to the heel and back. So we roll from ball to heel, press, and then kick the ball back. Ball to heel, press, kick the ball back. And once you kind of got that, then you try and trace all of the toes again. Medium pressure, try and maintain the same pressure throughout the whole roll. And you're only putting pressure on from the ball to the heel, then no pressure as you come back. So squeezing fluid back up the body. And tricky on the little toe. I always find my ball shoots away on that one. And then scribbling. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Light pressure. Very light pressure. Scribble, scribble, scribble. We could do the ball of the foot a little bit as well. Maybe rolling with the heel on the floor. Rolling the ball of the foot. Watching those knuckles on top turn white as you roll over them. Medium pressure, and then scribble again, because scribble's supposed to be the last thing. Let me just start it again. And then standing on your feet, taking a breath, thinking about what you've just done and how your foot feels. Maybe thinking about the arches of the feet and how they feel. Maybe the alignment of the foot or the space that the foot takes up and how different it might be from side to side. And hopefully you noticed a difference. Let's see the other side. So we start on the center. So I can rest my heel down, or I can be on top without the heel down, but I'm gonna really use everything I can to kind of think about how much pressure I want. And literally I'm moving my hips from side to side, which just shifts the weight from one foot to the other. So it's kind of steadily building up. It's not shocking to my body. My fibers have time to kind of translate what's going on so they can rest around the ball. So no shocking, not going to pain. I might want to press and hold if I'm comfy there. Or keep pressing and releasing if it's not comfy. And let's come now to the front of the heel. So I'm not on the heel, I'm in front of the heel. Toes are on the floor. And again, I'm pressing into that fascia there. Press and release. Press and release. Maybe pressing and holding. It's so much you can do. I want you to feel your way. But this first step is compression. And then we do the rolling across the front of the heel. So it's just off the bone. And we're squeezing. I'm internally, externally rotating my leg. I'm pressing medium pressure. I can feel any speed bumps under there. It's nice and slow. And now I can actually go over the heel as well as I squish and hydrate the tissues under the ball. Ah, lovely. And then I'm going to do the lines from the ball to the heel and then kick the ball back. Medium pressure all the way from the ball to the heel, ball to the heel, ball to the heel. And then thinking about the 5 lines. Big toe. Oh, it's tricky this. Second toe. Middle toe. Fourth toe. Fifth toe, very tricky to get that even pressure. Anyway, it's fun. And then heel on the floor, we can roll over the ball of the foot. So just kind of waving the foot from side to side. You can see my knuckles turning white one by one. Medium pressure. And then finally, scribbling. My favorite. Oops, where's my ball gone? Naughty ball. Scribbling, scribbling, scribbling. Let's finish by scribbling on the other leg as well. So we kind of feel a bit even when we've done lots of work. And then standing on your feet, letting your feet drink in that new sensation. Maybe they feel more aligned, maybe they feel vibrant, maybe they feel, maybe the arches feel different, maybe they feel invisible. I get that sometimes where I felt it before, now I don't feel it because what I was feeling was tension. Now the tension's gone, it's like my foot's invisible. All different things, whatever you're feeling is the right thing. Okay, let's shake out our legs a little bit and come back onto the mat for a little bit more movement. We will be rolling on the kneecap now, not rolling the ball on the kneecap, but we'll be putting pressure on the knee, moving from crescent lunge to runner's lunge. So probably want to have some padding under the knee. You might want to have a couple of blocks or a chair handy. It might help you, so we'll see. I'm going to start in this kind of lunge. I've got my right foot forward. I'm going to tuck the toes under of my left foot. And I'm going to have the heel so that I can dig it in because I'm going to want to press on that foot and lift up. So sinking the hips as much as you want to, not overly sinking, still keeping some integrity in the hips. So pulling that right hip back, pulling the left hip forward. We start from here, tucking the toes under the back foot. I'm going to draw my arms back, press into the front foot because that's going to give me the strength. And as I breathe in, I'm going to reach my arms up and open the front line of that left side. And as I exhale, I'm bringing my hands down. I'm also taking my bottom back and I'm going to lift my front toes down. I'm going to move my bottom onto that back heel. And then inhaling, I'm sending my hips forward, dropping my front foot, dropping my hips as I lift my hands. That's your inhale, your exhale. The hands coming down, the bottom's coming back. Hands come back, bottom drops to heel. Toes on the front foot lift up. Another 2 times. Inhale, lifting the arms. Exhaling, sinking back, sitting on the heel. Inhale. Exhale. Very nice. And then come back to the hands on the floor so you can change sides. Hopefully that's not too brutal on the knees. Tuck the toes under the right foot, bring the left foot forward. Sink the hips, but find that integrity of the hip. The right hip moving forward, left hip drawing back. I need to be able to feel that I've got control with that front heel. So I've got an awareness of the heel digging in. I start with my arms coming up as an inhale. And as I exhale, arms come down as I shift my hips back, drop my hands, lift the front leg, drop the bottom to the back heel. Inhale, switch the hips, lift the arms. Exhale, come back. Sink the bottom down, lift the toes up. Inhale, move forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Sinking down. Very nice, coming back. So I can release the knee. And then just sitting back onto the heels, taking a breath. Now I want to open the pecs with a bit of myofascial release. So again, sitting comfortably. So thinking about the pec muscles, the chest muscles, they kind of cover a very broad spectrum. So I've got the sternum here. You can feel your sternum. Feel free to have a prod. And you've got your clavicle, your collarbones here. And we're going to come down and we want to be off the sternum, off to the side. So you might have to move breast tissue around. We're going to do a few points pressing the ball in. So if I think about the sternum going down and the clavicle going up, I'm going to start quite far down. I'm going to do one point here, another point up on the sternum, maybe another one, and then maybe moving up. So 4 points kind of coming down and up the clavicle. I'm not going to be on the bone. I'm going to be off the bone. Use my ball. If you've got a tennis ball, it might not work so well, but if you've got one of these rubbery balls, then what you can do, if you put it skin on skin, you can actually press and twist. Quite fun. And you're going to hold it there. You can also do this without the ball. If you haven't got a ball, you can hold not on the ball, on the bone. I'm going to press into the soft tissue next to the bone. And all I'm going to do is 3 movements with my arm. Out to the side, diagonal, and up, whilst I'm pinning down that muscle. So tennis ball, you find the sternum, move off onto, move the breast tissue out of the way onto the pec. If you've got one of these rubbery balls, press it and twist it. Extra double whammy. Ooh. And then what you're going to do is just find another point a bit further up the sternum. So here's my sternum. I'm going to come off the sternum onto the soft tissue. I'm going to twist my ball. I'm going to pin it down. I'm going to go out to the side. Diagonal. Up. And maybe I'm going to find another 2 points. So here I'm getting near to my clavicle. Depends on how big you are, how big your bones are. I'm going to be at the corner of my sternum, my clavicle. Dig it in. Twist it. Just go your own way. Oh. I am enjoying it. I'm not overdoing it, I promise. And then maybe one, so the pec goes kind of halfway, or the inner portion, not too far out to the shoulder, but I can get another one here. So if you're just pressing with a tennis ball, it won't work with the twisting thing because they're normally quite hairy, but you can press, and you can press with your fingers as well. Now release, take a breath. See if you can breathe right up into that top lung that you've just done. And let's do the other side. So thinking about where the sternum goes, I'm going to come down. I'm going to move off. I'm going to move breast tissue out of the way. I'm going to be on the pec, off the sternum. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to press in. I'm going to twist if I've got one of those balls. And then out to the side. Diagonal. Oh, I love this one. And up. And you just need to do those 3 on each point. So then I'll release, then I'll come up a bit, move breast tissue out of the way. And although you are on ribs, you're not on the sternum, and it's not going to be hurting because you're on the pec, which is on top of the rib. So it's okay in this case. And then I'm probably at the corner now where the sternum and the clavicle joins. I'm going to fall off that corner. I'm going to twist if I've got a twisty ball. And then I'm going to do one more, just moving out laterally to the side, just under the clavicle. Pin and stretch. Although we're not really stretching, we're moving the muscle underneath the superficial fascia, which helps it get that gliding, slide and glide. So release the ball, take a breath. Oh, just feel into the pec muscles there and how they get so tight where we're spending our lives on computers. So now we're going to stretch them out with some back bending. So we're going to be on our tummies. If you don't want to be on your tummy, I recommend just messing about and having some fun with cat and cow if your knees aren't shot to pieces already. Yeah, you can never have too much cat and cow, and you can do this on a chair, you can do this on your feet, but we're going to come down onto our bellies and take a Sphinx pose. So you can have your legs wide as you want. You'll know if they're too wide, it won't feel good. If they're too close together, it won't feel good. So find a distance where your bum can be nice and soft. Wriggle your bum across the floor a little bit. Not really across the floor, but wriggle it in the air. And bring the elbows under the shoulders. Press the forearms and the hands down. Start to open the shoulder heads back a little bit, as if they're kind of rotating out to the sides. Draw the throat back and the ears back. Look down at the thumbs or the space between the thumbs. Really feel now the pecs are working to hold you up. But they're also, as they work, they're opening. And hopefully that work we just did will mean that it's a bit less tight, a bit easier to hold maybe. Press the forearms and the wrists into the earth. It's not all about the shoulders. You can also imagine that you're dragging the forearms towards each other. And trying really hugging in the arms. And then take the elbows out to the side, bring the hands in towards each other, just drop the forehead onto the floor. And we're going to come up for different back bends. I want you to just take whatever out of this suits your body. So we can first of all come up into a cobra where I'm going to push on my hands. So I'm really going into a bit of flexibility here. I'm going to press my hands under my shoulders, press them into the earth, and keeping my shoulders back and my shoulders down, so shoulder blades squeezing in towards each other, and shoulders away from the ears. I'm just going to push up and keep my legs open enough. I've got loads of things in my way. Keep the legs wide enough that it's not pinching the lower back. It's a lot of work on my arms, but I'm going to squeeze the elbows in. I'm going to open the chest forward. I'm going to keep my throat back. And then I'm just going to come down a little bit until I can hold that without my hands. My hands can rest on the floor. But now all of the work is being done by the upper body. My pecs are nice and open. I might then want to take my arms back towards my feet, drawing the shoulder blades down. Again, I'm kind of opening jars with my hands, so my thumbs kind of flip out to the sides, so the shoulder blades squeezing towards each other. I could even add the legs here. Again, just go to whatever feels right. Any version of whatever we're doing is good. I could even bend my knees here and maybe press the soles of the feet up to the sky. I could point the toes, try and find my feet with my hands. We'll come into a full bow. Whatever really you want to do out of all of this, you're welcome. And then come down, bring the forehead to the floor. Rest the body. Take a deep breath into the back of the lungs, back of the neck. And tuck your toes under and press yourself back onto hands and knees. And then bring the knees forward a little bit, and then with the toes tucked under, sink your bottom onto your heels, but press your hands forward. Keep your neck neutral. Really press the hands down and forward as you press the bottom back. Again, we're stretching out that foot fascia again. And then we're going to sit up. Very nice. Okay, next. We're going to roll the rhomboids. So your rhomboids are in between the spine and the shoulder blades. These can be quite bossy. And so I would recommend having your two balls. So we don't want to roll on the spine because it's bone, don't want to roll on the spine. But even if your two balls are next to each other, the bony ridge of the spine is going to fall between the balls. And there's not that much space between the inside edge of the shoulder blade and the spine. So you probably want them together. And I would recommend just popping them down like a third or 2/3 of the way down your mat, whichever way you're looking at it, and then put a blanket over them. Because without the blanket, it's quite a lot. But you know, you'll be able to work it out. Sometimes you want a blanket, sometimes you don't. Now, what I'm going to try and do is get those balls between my spine and my shoulder blade. I also want something for my head. Block, a couple of cushions. So I come down and I just try and find, oh, got it, the space between my shoulder blades. If you don't know where your shoulder blades are, the spine of the shoulder blade is here, what you can feel, that bony ridge, and the base of your shoulder blade is kind of level with your underarm. So anywhere between here and here, in between the shoulder blades, is going to be where I want to be. Now I can take my head in my hands to begin with, and I can just lift my hips a tiny bit off the floor, and I can rock forwards and backwards. Oh my goodness, so much going on in there. If you can't feel anything, feel free to remove the blanket, but probably you're feeling something. I don't want to lift my hips too high up. They're literally just brushing. My bum is brushing on the floor. And I'm not going to carry on rolling, but I'm rolling to think about, is there a place there where I could work with, as in it's not too painful. I could set my hips down, I could set my head down, and I could rest. And what I can do in that spot is either just rest and stay with that compression, or I could move my arms around, which is again moving the muscle in between the shoulder blade. We can do one side at a time. And the rhomboids squeeze the shoulder blade in towards the spine and move them out, let me stretch. So this kind of action of kind of the cactus and the hugging is going to be targeting that muscle, also taking the arms overhead. I'm feeling something. And if that's nice, you can just stay there, hang out. You can move, you can stay. You could even roll and find another spot if you wanted to. And again, there's not that much room. You've only got sort of enough, it's about 2 balls wide, this rhomboid area. You can also rock, if you're hugging yourself, rocking your ribs from side to side, and then you're pressing into one side at a time. Hopefully this feels nice and you're not feeling like it's evil. And you could try one more spot or just a few more minutes of messing around. Less is more. So even if you just hung out here with the balls in a space where you can relax, it's like you want to let the ball be eaten up by your muscle. So you want to really pinpoint the sensation you're feeling around the ball and soften into the ball as if I'm trying to suck the ball into my body. So it sounds really weird. Trying to relax the muscle around the ball. Oh, very nice. Now move your hips to one side, roll off and come up. Very nice. Okay. Now I want you to sit up and just find your comfortable seat again. Think about the pec work we've done, the rhomboids work, really feeling in, maybe blocking that block underneath you. And again, hands over the heart. And we're going to think of this time a neutral person to send the metta to. We're opening our hearts more and more with the fascial work, with the yoga work. And with the metta work, we can open the fence post a little bit wider, accepting more and more people into our field of love. Because usually we only reserve love to those who we like, right? Our family. Strangers are nothing to us. And, you know, we kind of reserve our love without even knowing it. So here we've opened up a bit more. We might be able to invite a stranger into our hearts. And it's not like you're bringing them in. You're just sending them that well wish. So maybe it's someone that you see sometimes, you don't know them very well. Maybe it's someone that lives in your street, you can see to nod. Maybe it's someone who served you at a restaurant. It's a stranger, someone in a supermarket. And so you can soften your gaze, bring them into your field of awareness, into your open, loving heart. And again, same phrases, may you be well. Exhale, so it's really softening as you say it. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. And may you be loved. And it's like a secret love affair. This is my favorite one for the stranger. So 2 more times. May you be well. Physical happiness, being well in your body. May you be safe and protected from harm. Safety, everyone's rights. May you be happy, mentally sane. May you be loved. This is you in relation to the world around you, ease of relationship. Last time, may you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. Very nice. While we've got balls here, we can roll the lumbar spine, the erectors. On the lumbar spine is your lower back. So it's this kind of place between your waist and your ribs. There's not much room there. Again, it's going to be a bit like the rhomboids, but there's just a little bit. We're going to be off the spine, but even if the balls are close together, there's space between them. It's going to be that you may want the blanket, again, because if they're very screamy, if you want to just make the surface area a bit smoother, or you might want to try it without the blanket. Up to you. I quite like it without the blanket because you've already got this curve in the lower back. So it's not like with the rhomboids, I'm straight away putting all my weight into it. Balls in your hand. I remember there's someone with only one ball. You kind of need to do one side at a time, but that's fine. You put one in, roll on it, then take it out, put it in the other side. So I'm going to lie down. I'm going to lift my bottom up, and I'm going to place the balls in the lower back, in like the kind of the most arched bit of the lower back. And the balls can be close together, or they can have like half an inch between them. And you can just sit here. You can just lie here. You could come onto your elbows and roll a little bit up and down, if that feels good. And rolling is like, it's kind of loosening up a wide surface area, and it's also like your exploration. But if it's not comfortable, my balls keep slipping out. Tennis balls tend to slip out as well, so keep pressing them in. If it's not comfortable to roll like this on your elbows, then there's no need. And then thinking maybe there's a part there where it just feels nice, keeping off the bones of the pelvis, so I'm above the waist, and I'm also, there's floating ribs down here quite close, so I'm kind of right in the center of that arch of the lower back. Once I've had a little exploration, I'm going to sink down. Oh, that's good. If it's too much, put the blanket on top. And what you could do is rock your knees from side to side. You could just stay and breathe and try and soften the musculature around the ball. You could lift one knee up at a time. That's another thing you can do. Maybe hug a knee in, so that's kind of pressing down on one side. So if you've got only one ball and it's on the one side, it's going to be that knee that you lift up. Oh, I like that. But just because I like it doesn't mean that you like it. Find what works for you. Sometimes you just want to be still. Sometimes you want to keep rolling. I'd always keep some time for stillness. If you're an avid roller, see if you can hold one or two or three breaths still at least. I mean, you could even bring both knees up. I mean, that might be too intense. Even lifting the bottom off the floor and rolling forwards and backwards. That's really quite like deep in there, but depends on how that feels. Again, feet on the floor, rocking from side to side is just going to push the ball in towards the spine on either side. So that's sometimes nice. And then lift up your hips, release the balls, lay the hips down and just rest and feel into the lower back there. Let the nervous system reset its response. Just thinking about how it feels. Maybe there's a warmth, maybe there's a letting go, maybe you're flooded with sensations there. Maybe it's gone invisible. Maybe it's something that you think, oh, maybe I ought to do that more often. And then move your hips to one side, roll over to the opposite side, and come up into our final chunk of movement. So we're going to do some gentle forward bends. So I recommend sitting up on something. I like either a cushion or a blanket or a nice flat block. Hopefully you're getting super chilled now. It's amazing the overall effect of that fascial release. So I'm going to try and bring my sitting bones down so that I can sit upright with my natural curve. Hopefully I've loosened up here, I've loosened up the rhomboids, I've loosened up the erectors. I'm going to send my heels straight out from my hip bones, so probably not feet together, some space between them. I'm going to bring my right sole near to my inner thigh. I could support that knee, the blanket. I could even support the back of the knee that's long with a blanket if I've got hypermobility issues. And I'm going to lift my chest, I'm going to breathe in, stretch up. As I breathe out, I'm just going to reach the pubic bone down, reach my chest forward, bring my hands down. So I've just kind of rolled the pelvis forward and down a little bit, feeling that kind of activation in the back of my thigh. And then I'm going to just rest my spine bit by bit. Just make this kind of floppy. You can let the knee bend as much as it wants. Again, you can support the knee with something, a cushion if you want to. Just feeling that the sensation is shared around the back body. So it's not all in the calf, it's not all in the thigh. I can bend my knee, I can reach up or down or come out of it a bit so that I can kind of share the sensation out. And I don't want to feel it too close to the back of the knee, or too close to the sitting bone, or too much in the lower back. I'll share it out. Take a few deep breaths, surrender as much as you can. And then gently lifting the chest, opening out to the right. I'm going to press my left foot away from me. I'm going to open, I'm going to turn the hips. I'm going to move the right knee to the right. And I'm just going to lift up the right arm as I send the left arm down to my inner ankle. Maybe I'm going to go up here. Maybe I want to turn the palm and stretch open that sideline a bit more. Nothing too fancy, but the ribs are facing the same direction as that bent knee. I'm really kind of closing this and opening this, also giving a stretch on the inner thigh here. Come up, release the hand, close the hips, recenter the pelvis, and let's go to the other side. So I'm going to bend the left knee, bring the sole of the foot in towards the thigh, and maybe rest the knee on something, maybe have support under the knee. Take the sitting bones back so you can sit upright. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, reach the pubic bone down. Lift the chest forward. So I've rolled the pelvis over the thigh bone, and I'm going to rest my arms. And then I'm going to go into as much of a curve of the spine as I feel. Just trying to share out the sensation in the whole of the back of that line, so that it's not all screaming from one place, and I can bend the knee more, I can come up, I can come down. Make it soft and sweet and loving. And gently come up and turn yourself towards the left. Pushing the right foot forward away from you, turning the knee to the left, turning the ribs to the left. And I'm going to take my arm up, maybe reach my right hand towards my inner ankle, maybe turn the palm, reach it over alongside the ear. Rib cage turning to the left. Left knee towards the left. Reaching towards the right toes. And then coming up, releasing. And then coming back to center, bring the blanket underneath the knees. A nice support for the knees. Bring my block back with me. Take the sitting bones back, sitting up nice and tall. Inhaling, floating the arms up. And exhaling, coming into a very soft forward bend. As I breathe out, I press the pubic bone down into whatever I'm sitting on. I bring my hands down and I very gently come into a very soft and relaxed forward bend. And it's here that I'm going to think about, if it's comfy, you can always come out if it's not comfy. I'm going to think about someone who's really annoying me at the moment. Don't go for your arch nemesis. Don't go big. Just go for someone who's just slightly irritating. Maybe it's me, sorry. You can send me some love. Just thinking about that person, bringing them into your field of awareness. And we can just bring them in. You can either stay here or you can come up. Bring your hands into your heart. Depends on whether you're happy to kind of keep surrendering, keep bowing. You want to come up and invite them into your heart space. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. Just think about what a powerful thing that you've just done. Not easy, maybe. But your heart was big enough to do it. So now relax into your position. Bend your knees. Remove the blanket. Keep the left leg straight. Bend the right knee in. You can take the right sitting bone back and twist to the right. And just give your spine a little twist. Very gentle twist and yanking. Literally just undoing. You're unwinding. So I'm twisting right. My left foot's forward. My right knee's bent. My rib cage is twisting towards the right. And then I'm going to come back to center and change direction. I'm going to stretch out my right leg, bend my left knee, hug it in. I take my left buttock back so my pelvis is turning. And I'm going to twist to the left. Fingers just lightly on the floor, not yanking myself round, just unwinding. And I'm going to come back to center, center my pelvis, come off my block. And then last little thing with the balls, and then we move from that into our deep relaxation. So with this, have a blanket ready near you, and you may need it for the balls as well. we're going to do the Piriformis, which is the bullseye of the butt. So I'm just thinking right into the center of the butt flesh. What I'm going to do, you might have to do one side at a time. If you've got one ball, that's fine. But I'm kind of thinking that afterwards I'm going to be resting. So I'd set my body up so I can just stretch out my legs afterwards. And I've got my blanket handy because this is super relaxing. I'm going to lay down with my knees bent. I'm going to lift up my buttocks. I'm just going to place my balls somewhere in the middle of my bum. So I'm not right at the top where there's bones. I'm not right in the center where there's a sacrum. I could wriggle the hips, as in what I'm doing here is just hoiking one hip up at a time, like swaying my hips. I could also rock my knees from side to side. And if it's screaming at you and too painful, just grab a blanket and put it over the top. So this is going to be our final little bit of rolling. And you might want to just stay and breathe. And if you stay and breathe, you're trying to weight the buttocks down onto these balls. And that is often, it's talking enough, right? You can hear a lot of noise from my bum. And then tipping the knees from side to side is going to be just pressing into one side at a time. Again, you can do one side at a time, it's fine. You only have one ball. Oh. So this is maybe a love it, hate it kind of thing. You could also lift up one foot and place the ankle on the other knee. And then you can again sway the knees from side to side. There's another way of accessing. So that you're kind of in that figure four, really targeting that Piriformis, very gentle. Then you could try the other side, placing the ankle over the opposite knee and just swaying. So my supporting foot stays on the floor, my knee is swinging out and in. And that's just putting pressure on both balls, one at a time. You could even lift that foot up, place it on a block. No need that you could. So yeah, sometimes just putting that foot down, or you could go in. If you go too far into the figure four, then the balls just roll out. But you could try just lifting the heel up, lifting the foot up. Whatever you want, whatever you want. By now, hopefully you know we're just experimenting. And the main thing is not to find somebody you can work with. If it's too much, if it's nerve pain, we don't want it. If it's pain, we don't want it. If it's too intense and you can't rest, then just go like an inch further away and kind of come at it from a different angle. Take 3 or 4 really deep breaths now in stillness. And then lift up your heels, press on your feet, bring the balls out and rest your bottom onto the earth. Stretch out your legs in Shavasana, or you can keep the feet on the floor if you want, and just melt into the sensation there, what you've done. Really, usually quite powerful and restful pose. You can have your arms where you want. Maybe you want to keep them on your heart, maybe you want to keep them on your belly, maybe you want to take them alongside the body, palms turn up. And as I sit up, you can stay resting in Shavasana. You can prepare for Shavasana and just come back to that restful position, covering yourself so you don't get too chilly.
And feeling the body now resting on the earth, feeling that the earth literally has your back. The earth has your back. You're resting your weight into the core of the earth. Just feel the weight dropping down into the earth. Every time you exhale, you can kind of really get a sense of this letting go, becoming heavier, surrendering. I know that the work you've done with the strengthening, the stretching, and the fascial release, and also emotional work you've done is leading to this point of stillness, this point of surrender, where your heart is big enough for whatever the world is going to throw at you right now, today, the rest of the year. Just know that you've got enough room. You've got enough space in your heart. And the final part of our metta bhavana journey was to extend this loving kindness to all beings. So just before we melt into a deeper relaxation, just take time to see if you can visualize all beings, not easy, all realms of existence, the Buddhist tradition, the past, present, and future, all beings. So that's not just humans, animals, angels, all beings in all realms of existence. The heart is big enough for all of them now. And you can end this part of your practice by offering them the same love. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be happy. May you be loved. May you be well. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be loved. May you be happy. Now you can fully rest, knowing that there's enough room for everything. You can melt into the earth and feel the heart so wide open, bigger than this room, bigger than the space between my room and your room. This heart as the container for all of our hearts, all of our lives, the space between the space, between the space, between the space, between the space. So as you lie here and breathe, you can feel that the exhale is connecting you to Mother Earth, into the core of the earth. But your inhale enables you to go wide as the world, without fear, without worrying that there's not enough, without worrying that you won't have enough left. So let your inhale expand you massively, and let your exhale gently draw you back into the loving arms of your yoga mat, in your beautiful home, in your beautiful heart. And I wish you all well. I recommend you stay and rest for a long time. You nourish yourself with kindness throughout the day. Eat the foods you want to eat the chocolate. Keep bringing love back to yourself. You can't go wrong. Thank you. Just lying here, knowing that the earth can take all of the fear and the worry for you, so that you can go out. Opening your heart to courage, to loving the unknown, to sitting with the unpleasant, to accepting the unacceptable, to living with the unbearable. Your heart has got it all. It's big enough. And so if you're feeling like you might be ready to come out of relaxation, please feel free. But also, you're in your own home. Stay, rest if you want to. If you do want to wriggle and stretch and have a yawn and a deep breath, just feel into your body again. Nourish yourself again with the breath. Feel the breath moving into the fingers, the toes, top of the head. Yawning and stretching, maybe rolling onto one side before you come up so that you feel comfortable, so that you can come back slowly. And I wish you the best of days. And yeah, I hope to see you. Don't forget, I've got my 2 courses, the Metta Bhavana, the Myofascial Release. I'll do more free stuff as well. You can do this again and again. I'll stop the recording now.